Chaeyoung reached the restaurant. She see a crowd in front of the restaurant. Seeing her father and Vincenzo lying there in a pool of blood, she walks instinctively to her dad. Vincenzo is taken to the hospital. He had lost a lot of blood and the situation is critical. Unfortunately, Hong Ye-chan died. Chaeyoung is shattered. She is sobbing by his side. The media covers this incident as an accident, saying that the truck crashed into the restaurant as its brakes were not working. The media depicts Hong Ye-chan as a bad man. They report he went against Babel to extort their money and even bribed the researcher Minchul to testify against Babel. The tenants, Mr. Nam, Hong Ye-chan's clients, everybody is a Jipuragi. They are sticking condolences on the door. Chaeyoung visits her father's tomb. Junwoo is with her to console her. RDU 90 got approved as a safe medicine without any side effects. Jung Han-so gives all the credits to Mrs. Choi. Chaeyoung is a Jipuragi, crying looking at the old photos with her father. She decides to close down Jipuragi. The tenants are worried. Hong Ye-chan is the only lawyer who helped them to protect the plaza. Tenants doubt if Vincenzo will keep his promise of relocating them to a new building. Agent Anjisok stands up for Vincenzo. He tells them to have faith in Vincenzo. He explains how Vincenzo helped the monks set up the heating pads and even set some young punks straight. He tells them that Vincenzo is not as selfish as they think. Chaeyoung is beside Vincenzo at the hospital talking to herself. It has been 10 days since her father died. Media has made him crooked in front of people. She don't think this was an accident. She has been paying Vincenzo's medical bills and private room rent just to hear from him. Vincenzo, who was hearing her, tells her to come to the bank with him for paying her back. Chaeyoung is shocked. He opens his eyes, does some stretching, gets up and is ready to leave the hospital. Chaeyoung checks if he's okay. He tells her that he woke up last night and heard her sobbing. Chaeyoung is embarrassed. He tells her that it wasn't that embarrassing and leaves the hospital immediately. Chaeyoung and Vincenzo visits Hong Ye-chan's tomb. Vincenzo remembers what Hong Ye-chan had told him about Chaeyoung. Old-fashioned lawyers like him were no more capable to deal with the corruption these days. We need strong and fearless lawyers, and Chaeyoung has got all of them. Vincenzo had told him to say this to Chaeyoung directly. He replied that he will say this to her one day and if he couldn't, he should tell her for him. Chaeyoung is driving back to her home. She hears news in the car radio that the dead body of the researcher Minchul was found from the sea. He is also accused of blaming Babel and joining hands with Hong Ye-chan. Media says that he committed suicide due to the pressure that his truth may be found out. Chaeyoung don't believe that the death of the researcher and Hong Ye-chan on the same day is a coincidence. She calls a detective to look into it. The tenants are pleading Mr. Nam not to close down Jipuragi. At this time, Vincenzo arrives at the plaza to go to his room. He sees the tenants around Mr. Nam. Tenants ask him if he had forgotten his promise of relocating them to a new building. Vincenzo tells them that he will talk to them later as he needs some rest. They have doubts if he has second thoughts about it. They ask him, aren't Italian men supposed to be gentlemen? And starts complaining about him. Vincenzo is mad and shouts at them. He asks them how they can be this ungrateful after he promised to give them a rent-free home. They reply that they have been let down many times by many people, so it's really hard for them to trust anybody. So he will have to say his decision right now. Vincenzo couldn't take it anymore. He tells them to go find a lawyer first, as Mr. Hong Ye-chan is no more. At this time, Park Suk-do arrives with his men in the plaza. They are happy to see the unity between the tenants and Vincenzo falling apart. They mocks the tenants by saying that the pathetic lawyer died and the Italian one got fired, so better take compensation they give and leave this plaza. The tenants are confused what they will do. Vincenzo goes away by warning Park Suk-do that he will take back this plaza from Babel no matter what. Park Suk-do follows the tenants to sign the contract to move out. They all run away. Chaeyoung goes to Woosan and hands over her resignation letter to Han Sung-hyuk. She asks him how the death of her father and the researcher can be a coincidence. Han Sung-hyuk tries to convince her to not to resign, but Mrs. Choi comes in and tells him to let her resign by saying that keeping a dog who bites their owner's hand is useless. She tells her she went easy on her as she was a part of Wusang, but it's not gonna happen anymore. Han Sung-hyuk tells her to return the apartment and the car the company gave her if she is really gonna resign. She hands over the car key and agrees to move out today itself. Mrs. Choi warns her to not to be so overconfident. Chaeyoung sarcastically thanks her for motivating her. Chaeyoung is taking her stuffs from the office. Junwoo is not letting her leave Wusang. He tells her that she is taking such a dumb decision as she is too emotional right now and begs her to not to leave Wusang. She tells him that Wusang has gone too far and she can't take it anymore. Junwoo blocks her way and warns her that if she's gonna leave like this, they're never gonna meet again. Chaeyoung doesn't care and leaves. Chaeyoung moved to her father's place, and of course, Junwoo came to help her. The news reports that Babel has restarted manufacturing RDU-90 after Hong Yi-chen was found falsely accusing Babel. Even other countries are interested to buy from Babel. Vincenzo is enraged and breaks his wine glass. He goes to the restaurant where the accident took place and searches for any evidence. He remembers that truck driver's face and is fuming, thinking how dare he do something like that. He calls Mr. Cho and asks him for a favor to take revenge on Babel. Jung Han-soo returns home and sees something on his bed. He lifts the bed cover and sees syringes with pig blood stabbed on his pillow. He is terrified. Han Sung-hyuk and Mrs. Choi is confused, thinking who is the skilled person to pass all the securities and do such a thing in the chairman's house. They will have to find who did this to be on his good side. Mrs. Choi suspects Chaeyoung and informs Jung Han-soo about her. He gets mad and orders to arrest her immediately. Chaeyoung is now staying at her father's place. She is drunk and talks with Hong Yi-chan's photo. She promised him that even though she can't be a lawyer like him, she will still be one of the badass lawyers out there. It's the next day. Chaeyoung is at Jipuragi greeting the tenants. She announces Jipuragi is back and that she will take up her father's law firm. She promised them to be their lawyer and fight for the plaza. Just then, the cops arrive and arrest her for blackmailing and trespassing. She is at the police station. She tries to convince them that she was at home from 7 o'clock last night and asks them how she can do such a thing by passing all the securities. But they are not ready to let her go yet, as Wusang has already paid them. Mr. Nam goes to Vincenzo's room asking him to help Chaeyoung. Vincenzo tells him that Chaeyoung is a competent lawyer and will come out herself by tonight. Even though Mr. Nam forced him, he disagrees. It's the next day. Chaeyoung is still in the station. Junwoo rushes to the station after Chaeyoung calls him and starts arguing with the cops. They tell him to stop throwing tantrums. Just then, Vincenzo comes in with the CCTV footage of the convenience store in front of her house. It has proof that she was home from 7 o'clock the day before. When the cops asked him who he is, he introduced himself as her lawyer. Junwoo seems jealous of Vincenzo. Cops have no proof to keep her and she is released. Outside the police station, Junwoo introduces himself as Chaeyoung's old assistant and asks him if he is Vincenzo Quezano. Vincenzo asks him how he knew him. Junwoo replies that he had done a background check on him for Chaeyoung, so he knew his details very well. Vincenzo smirks and leaves. Chaeyoung follows him to a cafe. She asks him if he is the one who did this to the chairman and came to release her as he is guilty. Vincenzo apologizes for unknowingly involving her in his revenge and promises to be careful next time. Vincenzo tells her to close down Jipuragi and back off from this case. It's better for her to not make any enemies with Babel or Wusang. Chaeyoung is pissed off and asks him who he is to order her. Vincenzo tells her that the last person to call her father was the researcher, so Hong Yi-chen died because he was involved in this case. He tells her that Babel and Wusang are invincible, so it will be better for her to back off. Chaeyoung is thinking of someone who will help her to fight against Babel. She calls her relatives and friends. None answer her call. Even her colleagues abandon her, fearing that they will lose their job if they help her. Chaeyoung comes up with a plan. She arranges a meetup with Vincenzo. She offers to help him to get the Gunga Plaza back. In return, she asked Vincenzo to help her take revenge on Babel. Babel had taken his building forcefully and even tried to kill him, so it's a win win offer. Even though Vincenzo is reluctant at first, he eventually agrees to it. They both team up to bring down Babel. They goes to the prison to meet the truck driver who caused the accident. He again comes up with the story of how the brakes were not working and the truck accidentally crashed into the restaurant. Cheong tells him to tell the truth at least now and asks him who ordered to kill Hongi Chen. He is so adamant. Vincenzo threatens him to say the truth or else he will die by tonight. That man acts fearlessly and is adamant that he will not say the truth. Vincenzo gives him a last chance to tell the truth and get up to leave. The truck driver, who is scared, tells him that Mr. Pio ordered him to kill Hongi Chen and gives them Mr. Pio's number. Vincenzo was about to leave, but Cheong tells him that she feels pathetic not able to do anything even when her father's murderer is in front of her. She can't let go of him like that. Hearing this, Vincenzo says thanks for helping them in a loud voice. The cop who was nearby hears this and comes in. Vincenzo continues by saying that he will not regret helping them and leaves. The truck driver tries to defend himself, but the cop doubts him already. He informs Mrs. Choi that the truck driver has joined hands with Cheong. Mrs. Choi orders to kill him today itself, and that is exactly what Vincenzo wanted. Cheong is so proud of themselves. She says that they are indeed the perfect team. She asks him if this is how he deals with the problem in Italy. Vincenzo replies that the mafias are worse. They are all set to find Mr. Pio. The truck driver gets killed by a fellow prisoner. Cheong hears the news about his death. She is desperate. She can't take another death anymore. She asks Vincenzo to promise that whatever they do to destroy Babel and Wusang, they will not kill anyone. Vincenzo doesn't reply. Vincenzo gets Mr. Pio's location. Cheong wants to come along. Suddenly, Mr. Nam wakes up after passing out by drinking all day. He wants to join them. He picks a bag from a cabinet and tells them to let him know if they need his help. Vincenzo is at the cafe watching Mr. Pio. He follows him to the restroom. He beats up Mr. Pio until he passes out. Mr. Nam and Cheong helps him to carry Mr. Pio to the car. Vincenzo makes Mr. Pio call his accomplice. Without knowing, Mr. Pio's accomplice fall in Vincenzo's trap. Just as he reaches their place, Mr. Nam attacks him with an electric shocker. He passes out. They both were Mrs. Choi's spies. They are tied up. Vincenzo finds a gun from one of them. He threatens them with the gun and asks them who ordered to kill Hongi Chen, but they are not ready to reveal Mrs. Choi's name yet. Vincenzo shoots Mr. Pio. Everyone is shocked. Cheong can't believe what happened. She asks Vincenzo about their promise to not to kill anyone. Now his accomplice may tell everyone what happened. Vincenzo tells her that then he will have to kill him too and points gun towards him. Mrs. Choi is at the laundry. Someone keeps a basket and vanishes. She sees blood-stained clothes in that basket. She receives photos of the dead body of a spy from an unknown number. Suddenly, the lights turn off and the door is locked. She gets a call from a restricted number. It was Vincenzo. Without revealing his identity, he threatens to kill her as he came to know that she was the one who ordered to kill Hongi Chen. Mrs. Choi acts dumb, saying that she don't know what he's talking about. A truck comes straight in her direction. She is frightened as hell and hides in a corner, but the truck goes away without hitting her. Vincenzo tells her that it was just a warning. She better clear all the allegations about Hongi Chen and tell his truth to the media and cut the call. The laundry door opens. Mrs. Choi swears to herself that she will kill this mysterious person once she finds out who he is. At the Babel's warehouse, where the RU-90 is stored, the disinfecting team comes in. The researchers vacate their labs for them. They spray everywhere, but they were not actually disinfecting. Once they were done, they get in their cabs. It was Vincenzo, Cheong, Mr. Nam, and the victims' families. Vincenzo throws his lighter and the whole warehouse catch fire. Vincenzo hadn't killed Mr. Pio. Mr. Nam pulled his chair on the right time and his special effect makeup skills made it look real. His accomplice had already told Vincenzo that Mrs. Choi ordered them to kill Hongi Chen. Vincenzo tells them to work for them if they don't want to get killed. Vincenzo gets information about Babel's warehouse from them. The victims' families are satisfied seeing Babel's warehouse burning. They came to help them as Hongyi-chan had always supported and fought for them. Jung Hanso informs the mysterious person about the fire. By the time Jung Hanso reached the whole building was on fire. There is a sudden explosion. Jung Hanso falls back. He sees a car, and that is the mysterious person. It is Junwoo. He had been ordering Jung Hanso all along. He is the brother of Jung Hanso and the real chairman of Babel. Jung Hanso is frightened seeing him. He tells him that it was definitely done by those people who stabbed syringes on his pillow. There is another explosion. Rage is filled within him as he sees his warehouse burning. Vincenzo promises that he will bring down Babel for sure.